Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you for joining me here. Hope you're having a great day. Let's take a quick look here at Solana. We're at 150 on the nose, essentially consolidating at our 0.618 fib level. But more importantly, we had a bullish backtest, this descending trend line, bounced almost perfectly off that 0.5 fib level. So this is good news. However, we got to recognize that Bitcoin dominance is continuing to increase, and Bitcoin did a little pump and dump, and most altcoins didn't respond very well to that. So I want you to be mindful. Today's a Friday. It's just a friendly reminder. Weekends are notoriously red, especially when we have this kind of funky price action leading into the weekends. I feel like this is somewhat of a trap. So taking a late long on a Friday, I feel is kind of a bad idea right now. So just kind of throwing that idea out there. You don't necessarily have to listen to me. I hope you honestly don't, because you should make your own decisions. But on the same accord, just be mindful that this is a very real thing. Okay, and before we get started, hit that like button. That's also a real thing. Helps grow the channel, gets you in front of more people, and helps just makes things a whole lot better for everyone. So thank you again for always hitting that like button. You know who you are. I know who you are. I appreciate you. Thank you so much again. Quickly to note too, Bitunix, awesome exchange, no KYC VPN required. Between now and May 14th, there's a pretty sweet deposit bonus. Easy to qualify, easy stuff there. Just check it out. Link down below for that. If you already registered with my link, then you're good to go. Okay, just want to throw that out there. Don't not take advantage of that. It's really a simple benefit. Okay, so Solana, 155 is that like little chunk of liquidation, but that's about it. As I mentioned previously, from a macro perspective, 160 is probably the highest point in which we go. So if you do insist on taking a long, make sure you secure profits sometime between now and 160. That's kind of the concept there. Not to say it couldn't still run, but once liquidation has been swept, a lot of times price just turns right around. It does. It's uncanny how that works. It's considered market makers. It's manipulation 101. Just market makers do this over and over again. Having said that, though, we got liquidation delta is more leaning towards longs than shorts. This is the same as yesterday, just tapered off a little bit. So bear in mind, still a decent chance that you're going to find success going to the upside. I'm not trying to scare you away from that. I just want you to be realistic and know that this year so far, not every year, but the last 5 months, we've seen like 90% of Fridays being nice and pumpy, and then mostly dumpy on Saturday and Sunday. So just kind of some heads up on that. If you want to take a long, all good, just secure profits on the way up. Make sure you do so. 150 is that local point of control, basically the area of open interest. A lot of confluence there, a lot of support. I do think 150 is going to prove to be a good solid support or resistance for us. And it's simple as that, because if we look at our point of control here, 151 right there at that 0.65 fib level. We're currently below that, generally unfavorable, but once more, it is what it is. So if you take a look at this here, let's compare some price action. Look, you can see how we're kind of flagging out here a little bit, right? The price action pulling back for Solana. If we look at that and we combine that with Bitcoin, Bitcoin's going the opposite direction, okay? So when you see that, that's considered an inverse pairing, and that basically implies that Solana is more likely to sell off than go higher if Bitcoin were to retrace. So do you really think Bitcoin's going to pump to 100 plus thousand this weekend? The odds are pretty low, and if that were to happen, there's a solid chance that altcoins will probably surge a little bit, but I think the odds of that happening is very, very low. And based on how poorly altcoins are performing right now versus Bitcoin is just kind of a testament to how it's not a good idea to consider a long position with alts right now. That's just my thoughts. I think I'm going to be leaning more towards taking a short later today and or sometime tomorrow, depending on how the price action looks. Those are just my thoughts. I'm looking forward to shorting Bitcoin at like 98 to 99,000. We came close to that level here today. I think we're still likely to hit that. Either way you look at it here, the reason why I like to touch on that is because it's relevant. This is an altcoin and it responds either poorly or better or comparable to Bitcoin at any given time. And right now we're seeing kind of a poor behavior for this coin and most altcoins. Okay, so now that I preface that, we're still bullish on the daily time frame. There's nothing bearish here. MACD is kind of trying to diverge, but we're not there yet. So really, the overall sentiment is still good. Okay, I don't want you to mistake that. All right. Now, when we look at the 4-hour time frame, we can recognize we're over the 50 and the 20-day SMA. That's awesome too. All right. So we got a lot of control in this area. The 148 to 150 range is highly desirable. We got a lot of average positions in that range with open interest and volume. And if we take a look here at the 50 on the RSI, we're kind of maintaining that level too. So I wouldn't say this is a bullish sign. This is just not a bearish sign. Okay, so the 4-hour time frame does look mostly positive. Stochastic swinging down. MACD is trying to diverge, but hasn't yet. So there's still more indications that the price is going to go higher. In fact, I sent out an alert to my committee yesterday saying I want to get in between 146 and 150. So if you're not familiar with that and you're part of my committee, make sure you read through my trade alerts here. I kind of give you indications of what my goals are for each trade that I'm planning to take. Kind of give you a heads up there. So all that being said, I'm still leaning more towards a long, but it just doesn't feel right to take a long on a Friday and or weekend. That's kind of the concept. So if we're still maintaining this range by Monday, it might be a different story. But a lot of it is based on Bitcoin and how it's performing. And Bitcoin's kind of, it's really weird. Just Bitcoin dominance going up and up and up, and Bitcoin price mostly going up, and altcoins just kind of struggling. It's difficult to want to take longs on alts right now. So that's just kind of some friendly advice there. Hourly time frame is going to confirm here as well that what is it? I think we are above the cloud, but it's kind of a big mess, right? We've lost that momentum. We got the lagging span within the price action. These are just generally just unfavorable signs to take along. So this in combination with this being a Friday, I don't really trust it. I'm going to be leaning more towards shorting. I'm not sure if I'm convinced that I want to short this coin specifically. I'll probably find some other outliers, but for the most part here, you're probably better off waiting to trade this coin or considering a long at lower price points between 146 and 140. So those are just my thoughts. I hope that I'm wrong and the price goes up for everyone and we all, celebrate. But between now and then, I'd be happy to hear your thoughts. What are you thinking? Do you think we're going to see a pump, or you think we're going to see a dump? Where are we at here? Comment below, let me know. Don't forget to like the video, join us over at Bitunix, and obviously make sure you join us here on Twitter, Telegram, or Discord. I got a lot of good content coming out. Also, too, same thing with shorts on TikTok, if that's your thing. All that's linked down below. Check it out. I do look forward to work with you. Hope you have a good rest of your day. Thanks so much for your time. We'll see you in the next one. Take care.